Welcome to devlog number 7 of Project GBPL. This project, as you know from previous devlogs, is all about investigating whether or not 3D game technology can be leveraged to help learn real-world photography. Now, for the purposes of this devlog, what I've done is I've utilized an asset that I acquired, licensed from the Unreal Engine Marketplace, called Document Reader Pro. And what that allows me to do is to put the text on the map where the player, the learner, it can actually pick up assignments to do. All right, so here's the first one. All right, and we'll read that. All right, so this is along the lines of composition, rule of thirds. Demonstrate how the rule of thirds adds visual interest to your photographs. All right, so we'll just drop that document. Now, the mission here is to find a photography opportunity that would demonstrate rules of thirds. All right, just kind of looking around a bit here. We have to go find some. We got to take a photograph that that accomplishes the assignment. All right, so here, how about this one right here? So if I raise the simulated camera, okay. Now how about if I do something like this? Okay, here we go. Let's take a shot of that. All right, good. All right, now let's raise the album, see what we've got. Okay, here's the picture. We'll select that. All right, okay, good. All right, so there's a full size of the photo, and let's take a quick look here. Now, if you envision a grid, all right. Now this grid right here basically gives me 4 areas where a primary object of the photo can fall within these cross points on the within the frame. Now you'll notice here that I have the house right there that falls down here on the lower left cross point of my rule of thirds grid. Okay, but now what we're here to do is to demonstrate how we can use 3D game technology to help learn photography. All right, so let's go get another assignment. All right, and here's the second Document Pro on the map. Let's pick that up. Let's read it. All right, depth of field. Demonstrate an example of depth of field. Okay. Now, we're not so much interested in what these principles of photography are in this devlog. What I'm more concerned about is how can we use this 3D game environment to be able to practice these various, in this particular case, principles of composition. All right, I'm just kind of thinking through how we could use this depth of field. All right, well, how about this? All right, let's try this. Let's raise the camera. All right, I'm going to go into the settings. Now, I'm going to set this to manual exposure. You'll recall from previous devlogs that I did refer to these menu items within this prototype. And now this is the Photo Arch Mode asset, also licensed from the Unreal Engine Marketplace for purposes of this prototype. Now, I'm going to set this into manual exposure. And I know that an f-stop that is very low on the number would produce a large aperture that would give me a shallow depth of field. So I'm going to put it down here, something that we might actually find on a real camera. I don't know, 2.8, 2.9, something like that. I'm going to adjust my ISO so that I get a decent exposure. My exposure compensation helps along with that area. Now, so that I can demonstrate this depth of field and accomplish the assignment, I'm going to set this into, let's say, autofocus. Okay, we'll keep it in autofocus. All right. Let's see if we can get a decent demonstration of depth of field. All right. Now, let's see here. All right, we'll note here. Well, let's take this shot right here. Let's see what this gives us right here. All right, let's take this shot right here. Let's see what this gives us. Okay, good, good. Now, we'll call up the album. And let's now take a closer look at what this shot is. All right, now we'll note here that the background is out of focus. The foreground is in pretty good focus here. This is a little out of focus. All right, so what this is doing is it's actually demonstrating a depth of field, where I'm more in focus here in the foreground than I am in the background. All right, so for purposes of the assignment, this is demonstrating the concept of depth of field. Although the composition, the photo, is not all that good, it's demonstrating depth of field, which is what I wanted to accomplish. All right, let's get back to the game. All right, we can close this out. Now, let's drop the camera. All right, let's go get our third assignment. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to find this third document, pick it up, read it. All right, leading lines. Demonstrate how leading lines can be used in your photographs to guide the viewer's attention. All right, good. We'll put the document down. Good, okay. Leading lines. Oh, look at this. We don't have to go very far, do we? Let's raise the camera. Ah, there's some leading lines. Beautiful. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the menu. I'm going to put it back into auto exposure. And I do need to adjust this to get a decent exposure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the depth of field. I'm going to pull it way out like this. You know, something that simulates 22 millimeter, which should be very wide. Okay, good. Now, let's take a shot of that. Look at that. Leading lines. Let's take a shot of that. Good. Now, let's go take a look at it. All right, so there's a picture. All right, let's take a look at the picture. All right, nice. We see here that we have a very nice situation of a leading line that leads us visually into the picture of the fountain. All right, so that's not bad. So that accomplishes that particular assignment. Let's go on back into our game and close the album. All right, we'll drop the camera. Beautiful. Let's go find the fourth assignment. Read the document. Okay. Diagonal lines. Demonstrate how diagonal lines can add visual energy to your photographs. Okay, good. All right, we'll put the document down. All right, diagonal lines. Okay. Ooh, well, we could do something like this. We could actually, this is a straight line right in front of us, but we could actually call that a diagonal line by positioning it. Let's see if we can do that. By positioning it in the frame so that it is diagonal. We could do something like that. Okay. That takes a straight line and makes it diagonal. But I got a better idea. All right, now we notice here we have some stairs. All right, the handrails on the stairs, very beautifully well done city map asset. I love it. A lot of detail, very nicely done. Okay, I'm just going to position, I'm going to raise the camera. Ooh, okay, good. Now let's take a picture of that. Okay, good. All right, we'll go into that picture. Good. All right, let's take a closer look at it. All right, now here's my diagonal line right there, and I got another diagonal line here, and these are actually diagonal as well. Now what's interesting is this contrasts very nicely to this straight line, another straight line, another straight line. Okay, so that addresses that pretty good. All right, now let's go back to our map. We'll drop the camera. All right, let's go get assignment number 5. Take a look at that, see how that looks. All right, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here's 5. All right, raise that. Let's see what we've got here. Using light. Demonstrate using light to draw attention to an element in your photograph. Okay. All right, let's put the document down. Let's, okay, we've got to find a situation where we can use light to draw attention to an element within the image. Okay, there's a lot of light here, you know. There's a lot of light here. Where are we going to be able to use light to isolate? Oh, here we go. All right. Ooh, interesting. Now I've got, there's an interior environment here. Very nicely done. All right. So let's do this. Let's turn around. Let's raise the camera. Ooh, interesting. Okay, now we're trying to find a way to use light to draw attention to an element. All right, so how about if we get in close like this? There we go. Now that's interesting. Let's take a picture of that. Okay, good. All right, let's raise the album. All right, let's go to the picture. Take a closer look at the picture. Okay, oh no, here we go. So the darker area here effectively frames this this image so that the interior lighting is actually being accentuated with these beams very nicely accentuated along with the ceiling. So this appears to be a fairly good demonstration of the assignment to use light to add visual interest. You know, again, with these areas of the frame darker, all right, it tends to have this lighted area stand out better. Okay, so good. So let's get back into the game. All right, and we'll drop the camera, and let's go find assignment number 6. So what I'm trying to do here with this devlog is to demonstrate how the learner, the player, can actually pick up assignments and be able to locate opportunities within the visual environment to be able to exercise and practice the principles of photography, in this case, composition. Negative space. Demonstrate negative space. Okay, good. All right. Now, you got to keep in mind that these assignments here are assuming that there has already been a discussion of, in this particular case, negative space. What is it? How do you utilize it? How does it make a photograph more interesting? What we're doing in this devlog is trying to demonstrate that we can indeed, with our 3D game environment, we can actually be able to locate situations where these principles of photography, in this case composition, can actually be exercised within the game environment. All right, so we're working on negative space. All right, so how about if we raise the camera, and is that negative space? Would the sky be considered negative space, and the water be considered negative space? I think so. All right, let's go ahead and raise the menu, and let's get way out here. Okay, good enough. Good. All right, is that negative space? Sure. Let's take a photo. All right, let's lower the camera. Let's look for another negative space opportunity. Here. Is this negative space? No, not at all. Because it's just too busy. There are so many elements in the frame that it's difficult to, it's visually complicated. And in this particular frame, there is really nothing of any primary interest. So that would not be a suitable shot to demonstrate negative space. Well, how about this? How about if we come real close on this fountain here? Very nicely done. Do we have negative space? Well, we do, the water, but visually the center object there is really what draws the attention. And the water, the negative space, doesn't really contribute to the interest of the image. So let's lower our camera. Let's look for some other negative space. Oh, okay, here's an idea. How about if we do this? How about if I raise my camera, and how about if I do something like this? All right, here we go. Okay, yeah, all right. Did I create negative space here? Absolutely. Let's take a shot. All right, so let's open up our album. Let's navigate over to that shot. All right, and we'll take a closer look. All right, now, have I demonstrated negative space? Absolutely, absolutely. All of this area right in here is all negative space. Now, what this negative space basically does is it accentuates these objects right in here. Okay, it makes these objects stand out. All right, and we have also a nice layering effect here as well. So this negative space, all this in right here, all right, accomplishes the exercise of see how negative space can actually contribute to the visual interest of your image. Let's back up a little bit here, and let's go back and take a look at, let's say, this shot right here. Okay. Now, was this demonstrating negative space? I suppose you might be able to say yes, if you consider this area right in here negative space, which I guess it could be. The issue here is that you've got too many other elements that are competing. And all of this stuff right in here, and all of this, and all of that. That's all competing with your negative space. So it's not really contributing to the visual interest of the image in terms of the use of negative space. All right, but let's go back to this shot right here. And again, now that is an interesting shot. Many would consider it boring, but that's okay. All of this area in here is intended to be able to accentuate these objects, these elements within the frame. All right, so let's go on back into the game. So what I've done in this devlog is I think that I've pretty successfully demonstrated how our 3D game environment can be utilized to be able to pick up an assignment. Of course, you know, there will be some theory behind what is rules of thirds and what is negative space and that sort of thing. But this game environment gives us the ability to be able to practice our various shots. All right, so we can kind of get a handle on just what is a good application of the rules of composition in this particular case. So I think that this pretty well demonstrates how 3D game technology can be used to be able to practice the various principles of photography. So hey, thanks for joining me on this devlog. This is number 7. Please review the previous devlogs if you're interested in this project. And by all means, come on up, join us on Discord, the Project GBPL Discord server. There's a link in the description of this video. Please join us, get involved with the conversation. We would love to have you contribute to the project or just simply track it and see how we're doing. All right, so thanks for joining me in this devlog. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.